Oklahoma City Thunder are in the midst of the greatest rebuild in NBA history. In the current day, OKC are the second seed in the Western Conference with a record of 37-17, while also having 16 first-round picks and the most talented young team in league history. From Shai to J-Dub and Chet Holmgren, this Oklahoma City Thunder team are in the perfect situation. But if you had said this 3 years ago, nobody would have believed you. In the 2007 season, the Seattle Supersonics drafted Kevin Durant with the second overall pick. However, Durant would only play one season in Seattle before the team would relocate to Oklahoma. The Oklahoma City Thunder were born and would draft Russell Westbrook in 2008 and James Harden in 2009. This young trio would blossom into the best team in the Western Conference in 2012, making it all the way to the NBA Finals to face the Big Three Miami Heat. After stealing Game 1 out from under the Heat, OKC were crushed in the next 4 games. In the offseason that followed, the Thunder made a horrible decision, letting James Harden walk to the Houston Rockets in free agency. In Houston, Harden became an instant superstar, averaging 25 points a game, leading his Rockets to a 45-37 record. Although Kevin Durant would win the MVP in 2014 and Russell Westbrook was playing great basketball, OKC never made it back to the finals. In the 2016 Western Conference Finals, they found themselves up 3-1 on the 73-9 Golden State Warriors, but failed to capitalize in the moment, losing games 5, 6, and 7. Although losing 3-1 is a terrible way to go out in the playoffs, people thought the Thunder would just run it back the next season. However, nobody could have predicted what would take place in the offseason that followed. The face of the franchise, Kevin Durant, was headed into free agency, and yet again the Thunder fumbled, as Durant walked to the same Warriors team that had beaten them. However, a motivated Russell Westbrook would have a breakout year of the 2017 season, winning the MVP, as he was the first player to average a triple-double since the great Oscar Robertson did it all the way back in 1962. Westbrook's averages of 31.6 points, 10.7 rebounds, and 10.4 assists shocked the NBA world as things were looking up for the Thunder. OKC had found a new franchise player and traded for pieces to fit around Russell Westbrook. First, on the 6th of July, the Thunder were involved in a 4-team deal that saw Paul George head to Oklahoma. Later in the offseason, on the 25th of September, OKC made another splash as they traded Enes Kanter, Doug McDermott, and a second-round draft pick to the Knicks for Carmelo Anthony. Now with their very own big three of Westbrook, George, and Anthony, they were set to contend once again. However, even though Paul George played at an MVP level in 2019, and Westbrook continued to average a triple-double, the Thunder couldn't figure it out, losing 4-2 against the Jazz in 2018, and lost 4-1 against the Portland Trail Blazers in 2019. After 2 postseasons coming to an end in the first round, OKC decided to blow it up. The first move saw the Thunder trade Paul George to join Kawhi Leonard in LA. In return, the Thunder received Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Danilo Gallinari, 5 first-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. Even at the time, this deal seemed to be steep for PG, as this deal would turn into arguably the most lopsided trade in league history. Following this highly successful move, OKC sent Carmelo Anthony to Atlanta for Dennis Schroeder in a 3-team deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. After this, OKC would continue to make small moves, trading players for first-round picks, including a Chris Paul trade from Houston, only keeping CP3 for 1 season and then moving him to Phoenix in 2020. In season 2021, OKC had the 27th worst attendance in the league, finishing with a record of 22-50, good for 14th in the Western Conference. There were some highlights though as Shai began to break out, having his best season yet, averaging 24 points a game on 50% shooting. Before the 2022 season, OKC used their first of many first-round picks to select Josh Giddey 6th overall. In the season that followed, OKC yet again finished 14th in the Western Conference with 24 wins. However, Shai upped his numbers to nearly 25 points a game, while Josh Giddey had a solid rookie season himself, putting up a respectable 12.5 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 6.4 assists. The backcourt of Shai and Giddey was a good foundation, but OKC were about to draft 2 key players who would change the franchise's trajectory. With the 2nd and 12th overall picks in the 2023 NBA draft, OKC would select Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. At the time, Chet was a highly touted pickup, but nobody really knew much about Jalen Williams. Unfortunately, before the season could even begin, Chet Holmgren sustained an injury in the Seattle Pro-Am and would be sidelined for the entirety of his first season. In that time though, Jalen Williams, also known as J-Dub, started to play great basketball, averaging 14.1 points on 52% shooting. OKC would have a good enough record to make it into the play-in tournament. Coming in as a 10th seed, they surprised the NBA well by beating the New Orleans Pelicans on the road. However, the Minnesota Timberwolves proved to be too good for the Thunder, beating them 120-95. Coming into this season, if you had said Minnesota and OKC, the same 2 teams that were battling in the play-in tournament, were going to be the 2 best teams in the Western Conference, nobody would have ever believed you. The addition of Chet Holmgren this season has been a night and day difference. and J-Dub has further improved his game. Chet, Holmgren, and Victor Wembanyama are currently the front runners for the Rookie of the Year award, as Chet has a solid case to win the award, putting up 16.7 points, 7.6 rebounds while swatting 2.6 shots. Chet has also been connecting on the 3-ball consistently, shooting 39% on 4 attempts per game, spacing the floor perfectly for Shai to create with his mid-range game. With the position that the Thunder now find themselves in, they could virtually trade for any player in the NBA and still have an incredible team. This is because they're not paying anybody very much money, as most of their players are still on rookie contracts. J-Dub has cemented his place on the team, averaging 19, 4, and 4, shooting an impressive 54% from the field. His mid-range and 3-point shooting, along with his pull-up jump shooting, has made him a deadly scorer. J-Dub has benefited by getting an opportunity to handle the ball, create plays, and score in isolation. With basically every player on the roster being able to shoot threes, the spacing is always great, allowing the Thunder to shoot the second highest percentage of open look jumpers in the NBA. Shai's undoubtedly the leader of the team, as last season he nearly led the league in scoring, with 31 points a game, and this season his numbers have been great again, putting up 31.1 points, 5.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists on an effective 54% shooting. Shai's mid-range game has been absolutely elite this season, shooting a ridiculous 58% on 2-point baskets this season. When you watch Shai play, it's hard to believe that he's only 25 years old, making him the perfect leader for this young Thunder team. Shai makes great decisions with the ball in hand and plays well off the ball, while his defense still goes overlooked, picking up 2.2 steals per game. Because of the outstanding spacing, it allows Shai to get into his isolation game more often, as he ranks in the top 5 for highest isolation frequency at 20%, which is a testament to how much his teammates trust him. OKC have been cooking, as the trio of Shai, J-Dub, and Chet combine for 67 points per game, which rivals the Milwaukee Bucks' big three of Giannis, Dame, and Middleton, who combine for 70 points any given night. With these numbers, it is hard to deny the team's potential, but many fans don't have faith in this young Thunder team in the postseason, and that's understandable. However, the deadline move trading for Gordon Hayward could pay dividends come playoff time. The veteran leadership that he could provide is something that you can't put a price tag on, and could be the difference in a 7-game series when healthy, as Hayward is a talented scorer who can get a bucket in a pinch. And in the buyout market, they were able to pick up Bismack Biyombo, who can grab rebounds and play defense. In the season so far, OKC has pulled off statement wins against the Lakers, Nuggets, Suns, Clippers, and Timberwolves. As when the team is shooting well, there's no one in the NBA that can counter them. The question remains if they are capable to keep up this high shooting performance over the course of a 7-game series. The answer is unknown, but I wouldn't bet against the Thunder, as with the right matchups, I could see OKC in the conference finals. Where will the Thunder finish the season? Let us know in the comments below.